I stood there torn between pride and desperation, because what stood before me wasn't just a tool, it was a force, a weapon, a gift, something so massive, so undeniable, that to lose it would mean losing a part of myself. I begged, not because I was weak, but because I knew the cost of letting greatness walk away. Understand this, infinitely. When life places a giant tool in your hands, whether it's skill, wisdom, discipline, or the fire of determination, you don't throw it aside. You don't let it slip through your fingers, You grab it, you grip it, and you fight to keep it alive within you. I wasn't pleading for someone else to stay. I was pleading with my destiny not to abandon me. Because the truth is, every one of us has been handed a tool, some colossal force we often overlook until we realize what we stand to lose. Don't wait until your greatness is halfway out the door to recognize its value. Hold it, guard it, wield it. Because the giant tool in your life is the very thing that can carve your future. The giant tool is not flesh, not steel, not something you can simply hold in your hand and measure with the eyes. It is deeper, heavier, and far more dangerous than anything you can buy or borrow. It is the symbol of your personal gift, the unique force that life has placed inside of you. For some, it looks like discipline, the unshakable ability to rise before the sun and chase the dream when others still sleep. For others, it is wisdom, the quiet power to see the truth behind the lies, to read the hidden language of life that most will never notice. For some, it is raw skill, the ability to create, to build, to lead, to strike fear into obstacles that would cripple weaker souls. That tool, that massive force, is what sets you apart from the countless faces lost in the crowd. Yet most people treat it like nothing. They hide it under excuses. They bury it beneath fear. They trade it away for comfort, for approval, for the fleeting applause of those who do not matter. And when the day comes that this tool is threatened, when life begins to strip it away, they finally realize the weight of what they carried all along. The begging begins, the desperation rises, because suddenly they see what they had, and they cannot bear the thought of losing it. You must understand, the giant tool does not arrive polished or easy to carry. It is heavy, it is awkward. It cuts your hands when you first try to hold it. It demands that you learn how to wield it, how to grow into its size, how to endure the pain of discipline until it bends to your command. That is why so many people drop it the first chance they get. They call it too hard, too much, too heavy. But those who refuse to drop it, those who fight through the discomfort, discover what it truly is: a weapon against mediocrity, a sword that cuts through fear, a hammer that smashes down the walls between who they are and who they are meant to be. The giant tool is never just for you. It was given so that others might see what is possible, so that your light can burn through their darkness, so that your strength can carve a path where no path existed before. That is why it is colossal, why it feels impossible to carry, because it was not designed only for your survival, but for the survival of those who will follow after you. To abandon it is not only betrayal to yourself, but betrayal to everyone who silently waits for the proof that greatness can still be lived infinitely. You beg not for the presence of another, but for the presence of this tool in your life. Because deep inside you know that without it you are naked. Without it you are defenseless. Without it, you are ordinary. And you were not born to be ordinary. You were born to hold what few can carry, to wield what most will never touch, to rise with the power of something so massive, so undeniable, definitely, that the world itself has no choice but to notice. Begging has always been painted as weakness. The world tells you that to beg is to surrender, to drop your pride, to fall to your knees in shame. But that is a lie told by those who have never known the cost of greatness. When the weight of destiny presses on your chest, when the tool that shapes your life trembles at the edge of being lost, you do not beg out of weakness. You beg out of recognition. You beg because you finally see the value of what you are holding, and you cannot stand the thought of letting it slip away into the abyss of regret. To beg in that moment is not about groveling before another person, It is about declaring before life itself that you will not let your gift, your weapon, your giant tool vanish without a fight. It is the sound of desperation fused with reverence, a cry from the deepest part of your soul that knows what this power means. Weakness is silence. Weakness is letting go without resistance. Weakness is watching your greatness walk out the door without raising your voice. Strength, true strength, is the willingness to plead, to fight, to cling to the thing that makes you who you are. There is honor in that kind of begging. It is not the whimper of the broken. It is the roar of the desperate who refuse to surrender their future. It is not weakness to cry out for what matters, It is weakness to let pride blind you to its worth. Pride will whisper that begging makes you small, but in truth, Begging in the face of greatness makes you bigger than your fear, Lee. It strips away the illusion of ego and leaves only raw truth. You know what you need, and you are willing to humble yourself to keep it. That is not weakness, it is power in its purest form. Flee. Imagine the tool of your destiny slipping from your hand. Imagine your discipline, your wisdom, your strength, or your gift walking away because you were too proud to admit you needed it. That is not dignity. That is destruction. That is not honor. That is suicide of the soul. The one who begs, the one who cries out, the one who grabs onto the last edge of possibility with bloody hands, that is the one who survives, the one who conquers, the one who walks away with their weapons still in hand. When you begged, Lee, you were not lowering yourself, you were rising to the truth. You were proving to life, to fate, to the shadows watching from the corners, that you are not so arrogant as to let your power slip away infinitely, that you see it for what it is, that you recognize the blood it will take to protect it, and in that act you became more powerful than the one who mocks, Lee, more powerful than the one who laughs at desperation, because you had the courage to admit what mattered most. Begging in that moment was not a surrender, it was a declaration, Lee. I will not lose my greatness without a fight. Life has never been fair in its distribution, but it has always been faithful in this: everyone is given a tool. It may not look the same, Finley. It may not shine the way another person's does. It may not seem massive when you first discover it. But it is there, buried inside you, waiting to be recognized. For some, definitely, the tool comes as unshakable focus, the ability to lock onto a goal and refuse to let it go no matter how loud the world screams in distraction. For others it is creativity, the power to bring forth from nothing an idea, a vision, a possibility that changes everything around them. For others still, it is resilience, the silent, stubborn spirit that refuses to collapse even when everything else has turned to rubble. Each one of us has been entrusted with something too valuable to be ignored, yet most of us walk around as if our hands are empty. The tragedy is not that people are born without gifts, finitely. The tragedy is that people live their whole lives without ever recognizing the one they already hold. They chase after what belongs to someone else, They compare their lives to the polished illusions of others, and they tell themselves they are ordinary while carrying something extraordinary deep inside. And the cruelest part, most don't realize its worth until the moment they are about to lose it. When life threatens to take away their discipline, their health, their opportunity, or their passion, suddenly the fog clears. Suddenly the thing they once dismissed becomes the very thing they begged to keep. That is when the truth reveals itself. The tool was always there, definitely, but they never saw it until it slipped through their grasp. This blindness is not by accident. The world trains us to undervalue what is ours, It teaches us to believe that power belongs somewhere else, in someone else's hands. It tells us to overlook the very thing that could make us unstoppable, and so the gift rusts. The tool lies untouched, while the one who owns it drowns in doubt. But destiny is cruel when ignored. Ignore your tool long enough, definitely, and life will place you in a situation where you feel its absence like oxygen leaving your lungs. You will learn too late that what you carried could have built you a kingdom, could have carried you through the fire, could have turned you into someone unforgettable. You cannot wait for the moment of loss to understand the treasure in your possession, You cannot stand idle while your greatness sleeps, because the tool is not decoration, it is survival, it is power, it is the difference between a life remembered and a life wasted, Every single person has been given something vast, something enormous, something that was meant to be wielded. To pretend you are empty-handed is the greatest lie you can ever tell yourself. Destiny has never been polite. It does not knock on your door and ask if you are ready. It does not wait for you to feel strong or confident or prepared. It arrives like a storm, unannounced, finitely, and it tests whether you are willing to hold on when everything in you wants to let go. And here is the truth: most people will never face destiny must be fought for, It will not hand itself over to the lazy, it will not bend for the comfortable, it will not remain in the grip of those who refuse to tighten their fists. You cannot casually hold greatness, You must grip it with conviction, with bleeding hands if necessary, because the world will try 1,000 different ways to strip it from you. Greatness is not stolen in one dramatic moment, it is lost in small, quiet surrenders. Every time you let discipline slide, every time you trade your purpose for comfort, every time you tell yourself, tomorrow, instead of today, you loosen your grip, and destiny is merciless. The moment you stop gripping, the moment your hold weakens, it slips, That is why you must fight not once, not twice, but every single day. It is a war without end, and the battleground is your own mind. To grip destiny with conviction is to accept pain, It is to wake up knowing you will be tested, knowing you will be cut, knowing you will fall. but still refusing to let go. Most people are not defeated by their enemies, Nifli. They are defeated by their own hands when they release what was meant to make them great. They think the tool is too heavy, the fight too long, the cost too high. But the secret is this, Nitli. The weight does not get lighter, you get stronger. Every struggle builds the muscle to grip harder, to endure longer, to refuse to bow when others collapse. Conviction is the fuel. Without it, Nitli, you will drop your tool at the first sign of resistance. With it you can face storms, betrayal, and failure without surrender. Conviction is not emotion. It is decision, Nitli. It is the unshakable choice to say, this is mine, this belongs to me, and nothing on this earth will rip it away. That choice is what separates the forgotten from the unforgettable, Nitli. The ordinary from the extraordinary. The world is full of people who touched greatness but did not hold it. They brushed against their destiny but failed to grip it, Li. They lost what could have been theirs because they wanted ease more than they wanted impact. Do not become one of them. If life has placed something colossal in your hands, Li, you must be willing to bleed for it. You must be willing to defend it against everything that rises to take it away. Destiny bows only to those who grip with relentless force, Nitli. Those who refuse to let go no matter the pain, no matter the price. Guard your gift as if it were the last flame in a world drowning in darkness, Li. Because that is exactly what it is, the single fire capable of lighting your path when every other torch has burned out. Too many people treat their gift carelessly, leaving it exposed to doubt, distraction and decay as if it were something small, replaceable or optional. But your giant tool is none of those things. It is not decoration. It is not accessory, Nitli. It is the weapon that shapes your future, the shield that protects your purpose, the hammer that forges your destiny. To leave it unguarded is to invite destruction, Flee. The world does not want you to protect your gift. It wants you to waste it. It whispers lies that it is not enough, that it is ordinary, that it is fragile and foolish. And if you listen, you will set it down, you will let it rust, you will bury it under years of fear and excuses. Then one day you will wake up empty, staring at a life built from compromises instead of convictions, Lee. And you will wonder where the fire went. That is why you must guard it. Guard it from voices that mock it. Guard it from hands that want to steal it, infinitely. Guard it from your own weakness that seeks to abandon it. Guarding does not mean hiding. It does not mean keeping it locked away in a box where no one can see it, Lee. To guard your gift is to sharpen it daily, to keep it alive, to wield it with such confidence that no enemy can pry it from your grasp. The strongest sword left unattended will dull and break, Lee. The most powerful weapon left untrained will eventually fail. To guard your tool is to honor it, to respect it enough to pour your sweat and blood into it until it becomes unshakable, unstoppable, infinitely, undeniable. There will be days when you are tempted to set it down, days when your hands bleed from carrying it, when your back aches from its weight, infinitely, when your heart whispers that it would be easier to live without it. That is when guarding matters most, because the enemy of your destiny is not always an outside force, Lee. Sometimes the enemy is you, your doubts, your fears, your exhaustion. Guarding your gift means guarding it from the part of yourself that longs for comfort instead of greatness. Understand this, Lee. The gift you carry was not given by accident. It was placed in your hands for a reason larger than you, a reason that will echo long after you are gone. To guard it is to guard the future, Lee. To guard it is to protect the proof that greatness can still rise in a world that has surrendered to mediocrity. If you lose everything else, let it be so. But never lose this, definitely, because your giant tool is not just your weapon, it is your legacy. And so I leave you with this truth: the giant tool is already in your hands. It is not out there, Lee. It is not in someone else's grip. It is not waiting to be delivered. It is inside you, pounding like a war drum, waiting for you to recognize it, to claim it, to wield it. Do not beg for approval, infinitely. Do not beg for permission. If you must beg, beg life to never let you forget the value of what you already carry. Because the moment you grip it, the moment you guard it, Lee, the moment you decide to fight for it with everything inside you, you become unstoppable. Destiny is watching, the world is waiting, and your weapon, your gift, Lee, your giant tool, is ready to carve your name into eternity. Thank you for lending me your ears, your energy, and your time. May you walk out of here with your gift in your grip, your fire unshaken, Lee, and your spirit untouchable. This was not just a speech, it was a call to arms. Guard your gift, wield your tool, live your destiny. Goodbye for now and thank you.